Lauren Meisenheimer. And if Lauren is here, there she is. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am fine. Thank you for wait. Thank you for coming on early.
Yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate that. You're in Sacramento now? Is that where you are?
I'm actually in San Luis Obispo today. So,
Well, for those of you who don't know, Lauren received a promotion, and I'll let her tell you about that. But I've worked with Lauren now for several years, hopefully supplying some successful candidates to her, and she's been absolutely a wonderful professional to work with. She represents her industry well and represents her company extremely well. So, Lauren, just go ahead and let it roll, and looking forward to seeing what you have to hear.
all right, so let's see if I can go ahead and share this. All right. So, Embassy Suites is one of the locations that I am currently at. All right. So, Embassy Suites is the one in San Luis Obispo. We're a franchise. So, we're not actually owned by Hilton. We're owned by Windsor Hospitality. And so Windsor is the company that manages the hotel as well as runs the hotel and owns the hotel. So they are headquartered in Santa Monica. We have 10 properties. So for Embassy Suites, we have San Luis Obispo and Lompoc, which are the two local properties. We also have Temecula, Brea, Santa Ana, Las Vegas, Alpharetta, Arcadia. And then we have a Marriott up in Walnut Creek and a Renaissance by Marriott in Asheville, North Carolina. For me personally, as Alan mentioned, I just recently received a promotion to a regional HR director. And so I oversee the hotel here in San Luis Obispo, as well as the Marriott in Walnut Creek. And then I help out with the Lompoc location as well. But we also have a HR person there. And I say that because or mention that we're franchised, because a lot of times when I have people apply, they're applying here specifically so that they can transfer within Hilton to another location when they move. And so for a hotel to hotel transfer, it would have to be another Windsor Hospitality property. However, any hotel that you would apply to after this, be it a Hilton property, a Marriott property, you'll have that hospitality experience, you'll have that hotel experience. And so it still gives you a leg up to get into that property if you didn't already have that. So for employee benefits, we have discounted employee rate through Hilton Go, which is great. You can stay at other Hilton properties, and it's a extremely discounted rate. I personally have a trip scheduled for December. I'm going to be staying at a Waldorf Astoria for $75 a night, which is the only way that I can afford a Waldorf. If you stay at Embassy Suites, it's typically about $45 a night. Hampton Inn is going to be $35 a night. So it's a great discount. When you work in a hotel, you see the back end, but it is nice to go out and be a guest and remember, what it's like to actually, be on that side of the fence. And when you come back to work, kind of have that fresh perspective of, I really liked it when that hotel did this, maybe we should start doing that here. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe this hotel did this. That was such a horrible thing. Let's make sure we don't do that. We also get paid time off so that you can enjoy the travel discount. Paid sick time, medical, dental, vision, life insurance. It's a $25,000 policy that's completely free to you. Windsor pays the entire premium. And then also 401k. The 401k, one of the nice things about that is there's no open enrollment period. So after 90 days, at any time, you can join the 401k. So if you don't want to join it, right off the bat, you don't have to wait until, the month that it's open enrollment. It's an ongoing open enrollment that you can join, which is great. So currently with COVID-19, it's a little bit of a different environment for hospitality, the industry, the travel industry, than what we're normally used to. So, for, our location, San Luis Obispo is a great location to be in hospitality currently. We do have a dip in the amount of business that we're seeing because, Cal Poly is not playing games. We don't have, the big move-in weekend for Cal Poly. There's, businesses that aren't traveling. However, on the weekends, you can drive from LA, you can drive from the Bay Area, you can drive from the Central Valley. It's only a few hours. You don't have to get in on an airplane and, be around a whole bunch of strangers that you don't know. It's just your family in the car. There's the beach, there's wine tasting. So there's still things to do in the San Luis Obispo area. And, because of that, we haven't seen the downturn on the weekends that we were expecting to see, which is a really nice thing. One question that I get a lot is, how safe is the work environment with COVID-19? We are being very diligent on cleaning the public areas, cleaning the guest rooms. The front desk, when they have some downtime, they're going cleaning the elevator buttons, they're cleaning the bell carts, just making sure that everything is constantly disinfected and is, ready to go for that next guest that's coming in. Hilton currently has a clean stay program, which I believe is amazing. It reworked the way that the housekeeping department works. And so when housekeeping's going in and, they're cleaning, they're making sure that the cleaners are, staying on the surfaces for, a longer period of time. Probably going into way too much detail right now, but the cleaners that we use have actually been scientifically proven to kill COVID-19 within 45 seconds. So as long as they leave it on there for a minute or more, everything's been killed, which is great. Once the housekeeper is clean, the room inspector goes in, retouches the high touch points. So the remote control, the light switches, the thermostat, anything that, isn't the standard, oh, I need to wipe this down. They're getting wiped down by the housekeeper and then again by the inspector. And then after that, we have stickers that are going on the door and it actually seals off the door. And so the guest, when they go into that room and they open the door, it actually breaks the seal. And so the guest knows that nobody has been in that room since it's been disinfected. And so it's giving our guest a great peace of mind that this room is clean, this room is disinfected, it's a safe environment for me to be in. And I think that's really hitting home with a lot of our guests to, have that good visual of, this is a clean environment that I'm walking into. It wasn't cleaned and then somebody walked in and, another guest that didn't like the room and then they left and nothing happened. If we have to remove a guest, it gets completely disinfected again. So, I think that's a great thing that Hilton has going on right now. So, what you guys are here for is the career opportunities that we have here with Windsor and the Embassy Suites. So we don't have all of these positions open right now. If you can look at the little screenshot that I took of our open positions, then, it'll show what we currently have open. So right now we have dual director of sales, guest service agent, supervisor, and hotel room attendant. Hospitality is a high turnover industry. And so we constantly have things that are coming up. Sometimes it's because we've gotten busier. Sometimes it's because somebody's moved on to another position, either within the hotel or outside of it. Front office, different opportunities there that arise is guest service agent, where you're helping the guest checking in, checking out, what to do around town. It's really that front line for the guests that are coming in. Guest service supervisor oversees the front desk agents, works really close with the front office manager, helps any guest issues that the agent isn't able to handle on their own. Housekeeping, we have the room attendants, which clean the rooms, laundry attendants, house person. And the house person is, the person that's cleaning the public areas, that is going in before the housekeepers to strip all the linen off the bed. They're doing those items. Food and beverage, not right now because our restaurant's closed, but we have cooks, wait staff, bartenders. Banquet wait staff is a position that's on call. So if you have another job and you're looking for something that's kind of part-time, but you don't have to, work 20 hours per week, it's a great option for people because, we have an event. Typically, not right now. The banquet captains will call and say, hey, are you available these days? If you're available, great. You come in, you can work. If you're not available, you say, no, I'm not available. And it doesn't go against you. The position's set up for you to be able to say no. And so that's a great option for somebody who's wanting some extra money on the side, but isn't wanting to commit to 20 extra hours. Engineering, we have maintenance engineer, skilled engineer. They're making sure that everything in the room's working properly, the plumbing, basic electrical, making sure that, anything that, the guest needs to be operational is fully operational. And sometimes it's just going and showing them where the, power button on the remote is, because our remotes are a little different, but it goes, obviously up from there. So for contact, so to reach me, and I'm going kind of through this quickly so that you can ask questions. So the applications are on the Windsor Hospitality website. And so if you go to Windsor Hospitality, you click on the careers page, it'll show you what we have available. You can click for San Luis Obispo, you can click for Lompoc. If you're interested in Vegas, you can click to see what's open there. And you can apply through directly through that website for any position. One thing that I do want to say is if you see our posts on, LinkedIn or Google or a third party site, a lot of times they have a quick apply button. Those quick applies don't actually come to us. They kind of get lost in the ether and disappear. So the best way to apply, not only with us, but with a lot of companies, is to go directly through the company website, because then you can be sure that it's gone through, that it's not kind of stuck in, a firewall somewhere. My email is my name, lauren.meisenheimer@windsorhospitality.com. And for my cell phone, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on there. Preferably not at 11 o'clock at night. But I have my cell phone on there since I am kind of split between, a couple different hotels and not always at one desk or another. So that's the best way to reach me. Email really is the best way to reach me because I'm constantly on the computer. So that's what I have so far. What do you have for me, Alan?
Well, if I'm a veteran coming out and I go ahead and apply to Windsor, or I go ahead and apply, what kind of training? What are you doing as far as training? It depends on the position, but handhold me going through the position.
Yeah, so it definitely depends on the position. A lot of our positions, we know that, say for the front desk, we know the front desk is probably not going to know our computer system because it's unique to Hilton. So unless somebody has worked at another Hilton property, they don't know the system. So, that being said, there is a in-depth process. Hilton has what's called Hilton University. And so when you first start, you do a lot of your training on Hilton University. And so that's going to go over, if you're in a position that's using the computer system, it's going to go through, the on-cue system. It's also going to go through, make it right and what to do in certain situations, ADA requirements. And so that is kind of the first 2 weeks that you're training. Sometimes it's only about a week, kind of depending on the position. If you're in housekeeping, it's, I think it's about a day worth of computer training, just because of the nature of the different positions. Front desk, it's about 80 hours. So after that, you're going to be working with the trainer for that department, the manager. They're going to be going through, daily tasks. Here's what needs to happen. So, it's going to be a few days of shadowing. Sometimes it's 1 or 2 days. Sometimes it's going to be a week. The front desk, it tends to be, about 2 to 3 weeks of shadowing before we kind of release you to the wolves, so to say. So, it definitely varies based on position. Engineering, there's a couple days of shadowing. And then it is more of a, when things arise, they'll go over it because you can't go over everything that's going to happen in the hotel engineering wise. There's just no way. I mean, there's stuff that pop up and we're like, that's new. So, we just kind of want to make sure that, there's the open communication with the managers so that when stuff like that does happen, they're comfortable reaching out to the managers. The manager's going to, work with them on it. And, even the front desk and, food and beverage, there's still the stuff it's going to pop up like once a year. And we're like, what did we do last time? Like, I don't remember how to do this. So it's definitely, varies by position. It also varies by how much experience somebody has. If somebody already has experience as a line cook, we can kind of say, okay, here's the recipes, here's the menu, there's the stove. Somebody that doesn't really have that experience, it's, a little bit more in depth.
So it's very extensive then, it has to be, because everybody has to be on the same page. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a question that just came in from one former Air Force enlisted personnel, and he wants to know, are there any particular security requirements or anything that are required?
No, so the main thing that's required from like a background check for safety is going to be, you can't have a history of theft or violence because you have access to guest rooms, and we want to make sure that all of our guests are safe. But other than that, there's not anything else that's really required.
Yeah, well, with California's new laws and all of that kind of thing, as far as, somebody with a legal history and that kind of thing, I mean, what's Windsor's position on that?
It kind of varies depending on, what the situation is. If somebody has DUIs and they're not going to be driving, it's not going to affect their employment. But like I said, if somebody has a history of theft and they're wanting to be a room attendant, we can't give them access to guest rooms. So it kind of depends on the situation. The theft and history of violence is an across the board for Windsor. The other, anything else that might come up is, we can look at it on a case by case basis.
Right. Okay. So got it. Okay. So where do you see Windsor going? I mean, you're in that level now. I mean, where do you see the not only Windsor, where do you see the industry going now? COVID is one thing, but COVID's not going to be around forever, hopefully.
Right. With the industry, it's definitely changing, and it's going to change. The Hilton Clean Stay is probably not going to go away. Marriott's adopting, something simpler. They don't have the, the sealing off of the doors with the, perforated sticker. But I could see, other companies going to that just because of how positive of a response the guests have had. And I think even after COVID, that's something that they're going to like. Because you go into a room and you're like, well, what if somebody was in here before and, they watched some TV and then they left. And it really gives you that, sense of safety that nobody else is in that room. Even when you're walking into a room, that there's not going to be a guest that's already checked in and that room was double booked because that seal's already been broken. So stuff like that, I see kind of continuing on in the future. Events are going to come back. I think for a while there's going to be kind of a hybrid of where, there's going to be the events in person, but you can also Zoom in. But, when it comes to conferences, even, the job fair, there's nothing like face-to-face interactions. Actually getting to talk to somebody and answering their questions in real time, that's not going to go away. So that's going to be coming back. When it comes to Windsor, I was trying to remember the other part of that question. Windsor is, we just rebranded from Windsor Capital Group to Windsor Hospitality. And we did that in the middle of the pandemic. We started it pre-pandemic because Windsor is really focusing on making sure that people understand this is a hospitality company. This isn't a real estate company. It isn't a financial company. We're specializing in hospitality. Before the Great Recession in 2008, Windsor had 35 properties. During that big, kind of craziness, they had to sell off a bunch of the properties, and they are, their plan is to continue to grow the company back to where we were, so that, we're really specializing in hospitality. Windsor is the largest brand for Embassy Suites. We had the first Embassy Suites brand. So I think a lot of the hotels that they're going to be either acquiring or building are going to be more in that vein because that's kind of their specialty.
Well, Windsor's always had a reputation for quality. I mean,
Yes.
It's not just kind of place where here Motel 6 and no, it's always had kind of kind of a reputation very much for quality. I've stayed there, and everything I've ever experienced with either Embassy or Windsor has been excellent. And then also looking as far as your industry is concerned, have you been hurt by the airlines?
No, well, industry-wise, yes. San Luis Obispo, Lompoc-wise, no, because we're not a fly-in area. We're primarily drive-in. So we've actually, we've fared really well with, the travel on, the weekends, even weekdays of people who typically would fly to somewhere else that, just drove into our area. So we kind of benefited on that one.
Yeah, definitely. But for veterans applying and that kind of thing, I mean, what are you going to expect from a veteran who applies and comes in for an interview with you? And what are your expectations?
Yeah. So, obviously, different positions are going to require different skill sets. One skill set that we do look for with every position is being a people person. We are in the hospitality industry. So, even the room attendants, they pass by the guests as they're walking through the halls. The guests are going to be asking questions. Engineers are going into the rooms, with the guests, making sure that everything is fixed before they leave. So really having that customer service, wanting to work with people and make other people happy is a huge thing that we do look for. Other than that, being a hard worker. I have a lot of people that apply and, they'll kind of tell me, oh, I want to work in the hotel because I love to travel. And it's like, okay, so it's a little different. Hospitality is a hard industry. It's, what's the best way to say this? It's very customer based. So a lot of the day you are trying to make people who have made up in their mind that they're going to have a horrible day. You're trying to make them happy. And that definitely wears on somebody who doesn't have that personality.
Very demanding.
Yes.
It is. I mean, you have to make the commitment.
Yes.
Otherwise, you don't make the commitment, it just won't work.
Right.
How about advancement, career advancement, and that kind of thing? What's the path there?
Yeah. So, anytime we have a supervisory position or a managerial position, we, as much as possible, we want to be able to move up from within. Right now with the COVID situation where we have a lot of people that are out of work, the hotels have been contacting each other. Hey, I just had a position for an office super open up. I don't have anybody that's ready to move into that position. Do you have anybody that would be interested in moving here for that? And so, there is a lot between hotels. We are kind of a smaller hotel, even though we are large for the Central Coast. So, when it comes to, front office manager, there's one management position at the front office. There's one management position in housekeeping. There's one management position in engineering. So in that sense, it is a little bit harder to move up. But when those positions do open up, we would prefer to be able to move up from within.
Earlier you mentioned as far as Windsor wanting to get back from where they were in 2008 and that kind of thing. Are there any new properties on the horizon? Anything without telling state secrets, of course.
Right.
But, is there anything on the horizon coming up?
So I'm not sure the current status of them. I know there was a property in Texas that they were looking at, property in Colorado that they were looking at. Other than those two, I haven't really heard too much. I do know the goal is to get back up to 35 properties. I don't know what that timeline looks like, though. So,
educationally, aren't there curriculums that are designed for hotel management? Aren't there hotel curriculums that are available for veterans if they're interested in really getting into it?
Yeah, and Cal Poly actually has one. So it's I think they changed the name to Tourism and Event Management, or I don't remember what it's called now. But there's hospitality degrees, there's hospitality certifications. There's a lot that are online. So if, Cal Poly doesn't have exactly what you're looking for, you can go online and look and see what different options there are. But yeah, there's some that, they really specify into hospitality and front desk and the operations of a hotel. So if you're wanting to get into management of a hotel, so, director of operations or a general manager, highly recommend, going that route and taking some of those courses.
That's a 4-year degree, isn't it? Or is it, it's not just certificate?
It varies. So it goes everywhere from certificate to a 4-year degree.
Yeah, that's interesting because, that's a degree and that's a certification that's often overlooked. And, their benefits would cover it and all of that kind of thing. It would just seem like kind of a natural kind of recruiting tool for people who want to get into that industry.
Yeah.
And it's good for me to know that and have you reinforce that. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And Cal Poly does have the program. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good to know. Is there anything else about Windsor, about properties coming up? I've already asked you that, but as far as anything you'd like to go ahead and just pitch as far as the hotel industry itself or working in the hotel industry?
It's a very broad question. Let me think. Working in the hotel industry, if you like to solve problems, if you like walking into something different every day, it is a great industry for that. If you don't like that, it might not be a good industry for you. So that is something to keep in mind. Every day is going to be different. Different problems are going to arise every day. If you like helping people, hospitality is great for that. There's hospitality can be very rewarding. You see people who are, celebrating a 50th wedding anniversary, child graduating from college, very good experiences. But then you're also a comfort to somebody who is in town for a funeral, and making that stay for them, making them feel welcome, making them feel at home, to kind of take a small portion of what they're worried about and off of their mind, to just make everything smooth for them. So it can be a very rewarding industry.
Well, I think you're right. And I as I said, I've been a guest and I've known people who've been a guest, and I just think Windsor does it right. Down to the food, all the way to the people that work with you. I just think it's wonderful. You're a wonderful representative for your industry. I just want to thank you. Collaborative thanks you for being here. Taking the time, because I know how busy you are. I really do.
No, well, thank you for having me. I enjoy it.
And a half hour in your schedule is a chunk, but I really appreciate it. But we have your information, and this will be recorded. So if you don't mind, we'll put it on the website. And
absolutely,
if you're interested in wanting to look at hospitality. And thank you for being a member of the collaborative. We sincerely appreciate it, and for supporting our veterans. We really mean.
No, we appreciate everything that the veterans do for the country, and we want to be able to help them as much as we can.
Well, thank you, my dear. Okay, we will see you down the road. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.